This is an overview of the Swift Performance Equipment Speedlight for iPad app. It's available free on the App Store. Just do a search for Speedlight Systems, download it, and you can have a play. You'll note on this opening page we have a list here which would normally contain coaches. We haven't added any yet, and we've got a simulation mode. I'll just add one coach just to demonstrate how that's done. We tap here, put the coach's name in, Coach Smith. We could put some passwords in if we wanted to. I won't worry about it at this stage. You'd also take a photograph or insert an image from your library here. We'll go done. So now we have Coach Smith. Coach Smith has no athletes and he has no squads. We'll quickly go in to Coach Smith's account and demonstrate how you can add athletes. This is our main user interface. The user home always takes you back to this page. We've got a few little notes here. Athletes, adding, deleting or editing athletes. Squads, creation of squads, adding or deleting athletes from squads. A test designer where you can design a test that may not be in our test library. This page is our setup and connection page, which is used to connect the gates when it's time to run your test. And of course the last page here is our run test page. We've also got a few utilities and options in here. While you're on this main user home page, the options lets you choose metric or imperial. You can change the start mode. We have several of those. We'll talk about those in detail later. If we're importing a list of athletes, your delimiting might be comma or pipe. We have a leaderboard that we can enable or disable here. We'll disable it for now. And some reactive strength index calculations. Our Institute of Sport here in Australia does a little bit different to some other people, so we have a special mode for them. And here we've got a backup database. This backup database, when you tap it, will create a file that you can send to yourself, and then you can restore this back to any iPad whenever you like by opening your email and tapping on the backup file and opening it with Speedlight. I'll cancel this right now and close this window. Done. Okay, so athletes. Tap on the athlete icon. You can see we have no athletes. We will press the plus sign up here, add an athlete in, Fred Jones. Always put the mass of the athlete in, date of birth if you know it. Put some notes in. And save. Done. So here we've added one athlete. We can add another one exactly the same way. We have two athletes. This side of the page is where you normally see the results from your athletes. So if I tapped on Fred, I would see all Fred's results in here. If I tapped on Greg, I'd see all Greg's results down here. There's been no test run, so there are no results. Next place I'll go to is squads. Actually, before I go to squads, I'll just quickly show you down here. You can import athletes from iTunes or from an SD card. The format for the CSV file for the import is on our website in the support section. Makes it very, very easy to do. Squads, or groups of athletes. We'll add a group. We'll call this one football. And we can put notes in if we wanted to. We don't particularly need to today, but we can put some notes in. And we say done. You'll be able to see there that there's no athletes in this squad we've created. So if we tap on the icon at the bottom of this page with the little people on it, you can see the athletes we added early. We could add one or several or remove them to or from that squad. Now you can see we have two athletes in that squad. what we'll do now is go out to the simulation mode because it lets me show you what happens in this much more easily. So we'll go back to user home, change user, top right hand corner, and go into simulation mode. Now whenever you go into simulation mode, you'll see this screen pop up just to warn you that nothing is real in here. So don't go into simulation thinking you're going to collect real times. You won't. Now when I tap on the athletes page, you can see we have some results. If we tap on a result, you can see we can get a chart of that result. And we can overlay several of them if we want. If you want to add some notes about a result, you can put some notes in here. Or if you're doing sprint bound index work, you can actually put the number of bounds in across that distance to calculate a sprint bound index as well. And you can see here 11.7 is the sprint bound index. So as you tap on each athlete, you see the results from each athlete's tests. If you wanted to export the data from, for instance, Christopher, you would just tap on this icon at the bottom of the page, export the results, select your date, export, and it creates a CSV file, formatted CSV file. You can send that to yourself. Cancel, delete draft. Squads, we've discussed squads before. You can see we have 2 squads, Argonauts and Daedalus, 5 athletes in one, 2 athletes in the other. Test designer, we'll have a look at that now. We have a lot of tests that are pre-built in the app, but if you need to do something special, you can design it here. I'll do a simple example. We'll start with a Speedlight gate. You can see them on the right hand side in this tray here. This little icon at the bottom shows you a couple of other devices, but we'll start with a gate. And then we'll run the athlete out through some cones. And we can use 2 fingers to pinch in. And move these things anywhere you want them to go. So I'm going to make an array of cones for the athlete to run around. And then we want them to run to another gate at the end. And that's the test. If we save the test, save it as cones, our test is saved. We can get a little bit smarter than that. For instance, we might want our athlete to run from here back to the start after they've run through this course. To do that, we'd put our finger on the last gate and touch the first gate, and now you can see we've got another dotted line. The important thing when we do that is because this first gate is starting and collecting a split, it's doing 2 things. So we need to tap on that once, tell it it's getting 2 splits, and tap off it again. Now that test will start here, the athlete will run through the 4 gates, and then back to the start. And again, you can save that as cones 2, save. Okay, that's quickly how that works. There's more information available on how that operates by tapping up in the top right hand corner. There's a little eye for information. If you tap in there, we talk more about how you can build your test. We'll be adding some video tutorials to these later on. So, as a coach, this is how fast it is to use the Speedlight system. You will turn it on, you'll log in as your coach, you'll go straight to your setup a connection page, you'll pull up a test from one of our pre-built tests most likely. Let's just do a simple 20-metre sprint. You turn your gates on. After you do, they'll appear down the side of the page. You can tap your gates to identify them. It'll make the buzzer turn on and make the light flash. You can drag them down to where they've got to be. You're now ready to test. If you want to test a particular squad, you could just tap on change up here and pull up a squad, like I did there, and run the test. You point to the athlete that you want to test, you arm the system by tapping that. Your athlete runs, your times are collected. Tap on a different athlete, we'll tap on Timothy this time. Arm the system. Now, because the athlete is actually starting or controlling the start, once the light goes green, the time starts when they run through the first gate. You can actually turn on auto next athlete, go back to the first one and arm the system, and it'll advance to the next athlete automatically. And of course we're getting results for all our athletes one after another. I'll stop this test. So that is, in a nutshell, is the Speedlight timing system app. It's very simple to use. We'll be coming out with more videos shortly, so watch this space. Thanks very much.